Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 92 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison from the Membership Guys, and this is where we dispense proven practical tips and advice for running and growing a successful membership website. Today, we're talking about motivation and how you actually keep yourself motivated when running your membership site. Listen, there's a lot to deal with when you're running your membership site. Even just the day-to-day operations, creating content, dealing with customer service, customer support, thinking of new ideas, handling the tech, all that sort of stuff falls on you on a day-to-day basis. And while running a membership site, at least initially, you'll get that buzz from the fact that it's probably very different to any other kind of business you've run before. You get that fulfillment from knowing that you're really kind of flexing your muscles in terms of using all of your skills, knowledge, experience, and expertise to help more and more people. All of that can be very, very exciting in those early stages. But once the day-to-day running and operations of the membership really kick in, then it's easy to fall into habits, it's easy to fall into routines, and sometimes the shine goes off the apple a little bit. So then if something bad happens, or you're having a bad month for sales, maybe you've had a real difficult nightmare member who's totally drained you, then it can be hard to keep that motivation up. It can be even doubly hard keeping that motivation up when running a membership versus dealing with clients or working in a regular 9-to-5 job, because as a membership site owner, even though you could have hundreds and thousands of members, it can be quite an isolated kind of role because you don't actually see those members. And when you're working one-to-many, while that is fantastic and has all sorts of benefits, the downside is you typically don't develop relationships that are deep enough for you to draw from in order to pep yourself up and keep yourself motivated. You know, if you're working with 2 or 3 clients and you're having a particularly bad time dealing with one of them, or you're just getting very bored or ground down by one project you're working on, you can switch over to working and putting your attention into the client who always cheers you up, or the project you really have a lot of fun doing. With a membership site, it can be harder to do that. And if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you have colleagues, you have management you can talk to, and at the end of the day, you leave the office at 5 o'clock and you can choose to leave your work there and not take it home with you. Membership site can be a lot different. So that isolation can really amplify anything that's getting you down, anything that's sapping your motivation. So if that happens, first and foremost, you need to remember why you're doing this. Remember your why. Think back to when you first had that chrysalis of an idea for your membership. The excitement, the buzz, the mission you had, what change you want to effect, what result you want to achieve for yourself and for your audience and your members. Get back to the roots of why you're doing this in the first place, and that actually can re-inspire you and reignite your desire and enable you to double down on your commitment and kind of fight through the fog that comes from being a bit demotivated, from being a little bit down in the dumps for whatever reason for your membership. So go back to your why. Remember why you're doing this. It's also important to eliminate comparisonitis. You know what I'm talking about here. When you're looking at other people who are either running memberships or they have some sort of online business, and you see all the great things they're doing and how easy it looks to them and how they always seem very positive and everything is great and everything is awesome, and you're thinking, how do they manage that? How in the world do they not get demoralized or demotivated? I bet those guys don't have bad days, bad weeks. I bet those guys don't have to deal with the sort of stuff I'm dealing with. But the truth is, you only ever see that surface level. If you're basing your comparison to other people, whether they're competitors, whether it's people you look up to within your industry, if you're comparing yourself to them, then you're only seeing what they want people to see. You see the tip of the iceberg. I've mentioned this one before on this show, but it's kind of like the duck swimming along on the lake. When you look at the surface level, all is calm, they're gliding along smoothly, but what you don't see is underneath their legs are frantically flapping away to keep them going. This is the day-to-day of online business particularly, where what people put out there and what they allow you to see is that smooth sailing, that gliding along blissfully. They don't show you behind the scenes. You don't get to see the struggles the other people are having. You don't get to see the times where they're demotivated or demoralized, or they just aren't enjoying what they're doing. But our tendency is to assume that everybody has this all figured out and we're the only ones who are struggling or who are going through a dark period, or who sometimes just want to say, you know what, screw it. I'm not working this weekend. I'm not working this week. I'm just going to curl up on the sofa and I'm going to binge watch the latest Netflix series because the day-to-day, the membership, is getting to me a little bit. We don't see that, and so we assume we're the only people that happens to. And if you listen to my interview with Carrie Green from Female Entrepreneur Association back in episode 87, something she said there is a quote that I've seen time and time again that I love, that you can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And that's absolutely true, because even if the people you are comparing yourself to do have it all figured out, chances are the reason that they do is because they are a lot further along in their journey than you are. So you need to eliminate comparisonitis, because that will grind you down. And the thing is, we tend to focus on that at the times when we're already demotivated, when we're already second guessing ourselves. So we get drawn to this habit of comparing our situation to others when essentially we're the most vulnerable to allowing that to get us further down. So stop it, crush that, get it out the way. Remember, you can't compare chapter 1 of your story to chapter 20 of someone else's. And always take what people put out on social media and what they share publicly at face value, because you don't get to see how the sausage is made. It's important that you focus on the positives. So if you're going through a negative time, draw back to the positive elements of your membership. Once again, we have this natural inclination to focus on the bad stuff. So if you have 1,000 members and one of them is really getting to you, they're really giving you a hard time, they're making your job difficult, then we tend to focus our attention entirely on that one negative element and not on the 999 people who are perfectly fine, who are perfectly good, they're happy, they're not causing us any problems. So find a way to always be able to draw back to the positives. One of the ways we do that is we keep a happy folder. It's actually called the happy folder. It resides in Callie and I's shared Dropbox, and anytime we have something that makes us smile, that makes us happy, it could be a nice comment on a Facebook post, it could be a really lovely testimonial that we get, it is also little screenshots of our PayPal account and stuff like that where we achieve certain milestones. Basically all the wins that you have, big or small, find some way of collating them all into one location. So if you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, if you're feeling demotivated, you can spend 15 to 20 minutes just looking at this stuff, reminding yourself that you're making a positive difference, reminding yourself that while today might be a bad day, or this month might be a bad month for sales, or a particular member might be a little bit of a pain in the backside, that ultimately there's a lot of good, there's a lot of positive, and there's a lot of wins that you've had, and that should perk you right up. And don't underestimate the value of just taking some time away. You're allowed to do that. In fact, that is one of the biggest benefits of the membership site model. If you decide to check out for a day or two, the world won't stop turning. Your members don't expect you to be in the membership, turning up, serving them, responding to them ASAP every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if they are, then that's something that you can actually correct. You get to set the terms, you get to lay down the boundaries and manage the expectations of your members, and in doing so, you afford yourself the opportunity to be able to take time away from your membership when you're just not up to it, to allow you to recharge your batteries. Because actually, if you're feeling a little bit crap, then feel crap. If you're feeling demotivated, feel demotivated. Take the time that you need to indulge that a little bit, because sometimes that's what we need. We just need that afternoon to just totally check out and indulge and wallow a little bit for a few hours, and then come back having got it out of our system, recharged our batteries, ready to tackle whatever it is that's sapped our motivation in the first place. So if you need to recharge, take the time to recharge. Take the time out to think things through, reflect on how far you've come, spend time thinking about the positives, looking at the wins you've had, remembering why you did all of this, and be sure to reward yourself as well. Rather than letting the fact that you've been working particularly hard or you've had a big challenge to deal with get you down, use it as the basis to treat yourself, to give yourself a little reward, to book a spa day or to book a little holiday or buy that thing you were going to buy. Turn that negative situation and the effect it's had on your motivation into a positive, into a good thing, so that next time when this sort of challenge or whatever it is that has sapped you of your motivation, that has ground you down a little bit, the next time something like that comes up, it then becomes an opportunity to be a positive thing. If you've just had to deal with a really sticky technical situation that's been causing you headaches for 2 or 3 weeks, and the end result of that is once everything's solved, you give yourself a little treat, a little reward for having gotten through that, then if that situation comes up again, one of the first things you can do as you decide how to tackle it is figure out what your reward is going to be when you actually get through that period of time or get over that challenge. And again, it just changes and repositions your mindset in a way that helps you to avoid getting too down in the dumps when this sort of stuff happens. So if you're not feeling very motivated right now with your membership, or if you know that you've had periods like this before in the past, or you're prone to having periods where your motivation just slips away, then remember what we talked about in this episode. Always go back to your why. Why are you doing this? Remember the change you wanted to effect. Remember the people you wanted to serve. Remember what your mission was, and allow that to reignite your passion, your interest, and your motivation. Ignore what other people are doing. Completely eliminate comparisonitis from your life, because it will drive you crazy. Focus on your own wins. Focus on the positives that your membership has helped you to achieve for other people and for yourself. Having somewhere to be able to reflect on that, a win folder or some sort of collage or little post-it board that you have in your office where you pin up printouts of nice testimonials or member results and stuff like that. Having that as your little mental vacation spot you can go to reflect, to take that time away and to remember how far you've come and how much good you're doing, that's going to really help to get you back on track. And don't forget that you work hard. You put a lot into this. Reward yourself from time to time. Take time away from your membership when you need to. And all of this will help you to keep your motivation levels up when they start to slip away. Hopefully this episode's been helpful. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. As always, I'd love to hear from you on social media. Tweet me at Membership Guys, or leave a little comment in our free Facebook group for membership site owners over at talkmemberships.com. Or of course, if you're a member of membersiteacademy.com, then pop a little post in the forum if you found this episode particularly helpful. That's it from me for the show. I'll be back again next week with another episode of the Membership Guys podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.